keep my mask on while I introduce the next speaker and then do this little doodad for him. Up next we have Mike Hanley, who I don't even know how to introduce you, dude. Like, I worked with this guy as a production manager on festivals that no one had any right putting together, and somehow we cobbled together with like zip ties and duct tape, as you do. Yeah, Mike Hanley's been a real inspiration to me. He's one of the people that I can reach out to during these last 6 months, and he'll just talk my ear off about everything that's great about everything, even though everything seems terrible. So, Mike, this sanitized microphone is for you.
All right, everybody, thank you so much. Thank you, Jeanette, and thank you everybody else that's here tonight. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an introduction and then just talk a little bit more about how I'm personally dealing with this pandemic and ways that it might also resonate with you. So as she mentioned, I have a long history of working events and festivals. My first ACL was 2004. That's how old I am. And I actually work in the food court. And as you guys know, in a normal year, we would be out at Zilker right now. This would have been weekend one. So, you know, there's a lot that's changed this year. And, you know, what had happened with me, my personal journey, to make a super Cliff Notes version of it, is a lot of what I've realized that's hindered me in my life leading up to today is dealing with shame, dealing with accountability, and dealing with the fact that when you're more egocentric and worried about yourself, it's a lot harder for you to not only be a good human, but also be true to what you are and what your values are. And that's where a lot of coping comes in. That's where a lot of negative issues come in. And so for me, I was able to realize this and put in some work. And, you know, similar to what other people have said and other people will say, went to therapy, talked things through, did a lot of reading, and I was able to find really what mattered to me, which was finding a purpose and aligning that purpose with your values. And everybody's values are going to be different, you know, and there's a few books, and I brought a couple here tonight. You can always see me at the end if you want to take a closer look at them, but a lot of them all say the same thing. They all say, let's try to do away with shame. Let's try to have more empathy, have more compassion. And how do we do that? Well, we're starting by doing it tonight. We're starting by being vulnerable. Just getting up here and speaking is a vulnerable thing. You know, anybody that tells you they're not nervous before they public speak is lying to you. I had mac and cheese right before I came up here tonight. That was yeah, and it's wonderful. The shells and cheese are great, by the way. Please have them. But that's kind of the point is. Vulnerability is key, though. Think of all the things that you were on the fence about doing, and then you just went and did the damn thing. And you may have failed, but at least you tried. But when you didn't fail and when you succeeded, it was amazing. So that's one of the biggest things we can do. Yeah, and that's what we're trying to do tonight. We're trying to show you a few things. You have to remember that as humans, we're hardwired for connection. That's why this pandemic has been so difficult. We're not supposed to be isolated. It's hard for us to be isolated. So what we're trying to do now is we're trying to say, hey, y'all aren't alone. Like we're experiencing this with you. And there's no one right or wrong way to experience what we're doing because we've never been through it before. And so for me, my personal journey has been when everything went south at South by back in March. Y'all remember March of 2020, it seems like 30 years ago. Yes, that was a great 2 weeks. And it was tough, and it was dark. It was like, why even get out of bed? Because you literally had every text, every email was, oh, it's postponed, it's canceled, or we don't know what's happening, you know. So we're hardwired for connection, and we're hardwired for an ending. It's in our DNA. It's what protected us, our ancestors, from getting eaten by bears. We had to know what was going on and how to fix things. Well, that's two of the issues that we have here. We're trying to be alone, and we don't have an ending to the story. If I were to tell you that the pandemic was magically going to disappear and we're all going to be able to party at Zilker and have full bar service and no social distance anything on, March 15, 2020, everyone would be like, okay, that's a long time from now, but I can deal with that because I have an end date. Well, I can't do that. We don't have an end date. So what can we do? We can read more. We can listen to our friends. We can, become, in my opinion, a better version of ourselves. There's always ways to improve and ways to do that. And so some of the things that have resonated with me is understanding what shame is. And a lot of it is just talking it out. So anybody that comes up here and really shares some deep and personal things, I applaud you. I'm very proud of you, because that's not easy to do, but it's also removing shame from the equation. Because all shame is what's in your head, and you don't even want to talk about it because you're so worried about being judged. Well, the irony is everybody's worried about their own shit. It's the spotlight effect. We all think it's all about us. So for me personally, moving away from that egocentric form of thinking of what are other people going to think about me, am I being judged, all of these things, I'm sure they're all true, but what I've tried to do is focus more on others. And I've always kind of had that in me, but I've had these mental blocks, and for me what it was, oh well, I've got another gig, I can't worry about that now, I can't worry about reading that book or doing that thing, I got to go fly to do something else or load in another festival, whatever it is. I don't have that problem anymore. So I've been able to take that time, and I will say for me personally, I've been able to, find more of a purpose volunteering, giving back. There's been a lot of really good ways to do that safely during the pandemic, whether it's with the food bank or with Habitat for Humanity, that sort of thing. And so that's worked for me, but also just listening to friends and taking those moments of holding space for your friends and not saying, oh, well, you should go do this or go for a run or go do that. Your friends don't want to hear that. They just want to be listened to. There is no, right. If you're literally sitting in your bed for the last 6 months, that's great. That's your choice, But if you're out there killing it and doing all these amazing things too, that's awesome. But we're not here to compare each other. No one's doing this better than anybody else. We're all in it together, and we're all just getting by the best way we know how. Like Jeanette so gratefully said, we're all winging it. And so that's really what I think is a silver lining with 2020, is we've been able to have that time to say, you know what, let's do some personal reflection, let's see how we can be better people, maybe make that focus towards others as best we can. And then once we can actually go out and live a quote unquote normal life again, I'm hoping for 2023, then we're gonna be better than ever. And it's gonna be, and to me, that's what really fills me with joy, is having that purpose that aligns with my values, which are giving back to the community, which are, serving others, teaching, that sort of thing. That just resonates with me. That may not resonate with you. There may be other ways that you would feel fulfilled. I encourage you to find those ways, and I do have a list of books that I can, and like I said, I brought a few tonight that I can share with you just to show you. It may work, it may not. Again, that's just my way of doing things. So that's really all I wanted to share, and I just hope you guys are all doing well. And just remember, we are all in this together. And we always will be, and this is just the beginning of what Jeanette's doing. She's a beautiful human, a wonderful person, and we're lucky to have her around. And she's surrounded herself with just as many beautiful, brilliant people that you're going to hear from tonight, and the things that they're doing are going to blow your mind. So sit in, buckle up, it's going to be a great night. Appreciate your time. Thank you.